Throughout a vast majority of Skyrim, you can find many organizations and many individuals who lead the organizations throughout the entirety of this world. However, unfortunately, one individual is not as bright as the others and is probably one of the worst leaders of any faction throughout the entirety of Skyrim, and that unfortunately is Astrid of the Dark Brotherhood. Astrid is so incompetent in her own ability that she doesn't even know how to properly run the organization, not being able to declare any assassination attempts on anybody and without a listener is effectively just another band of potential murderers who only get their information through secondhand rumors and gossip, just like how people were talking gossip about how that kid in Windhelm was performing the Black Sacrament out of his dead parents' house. Either way, the Dark Brotherhood is a complete shadow of its former self, especially when compared to Oblivion. And this really shows in how Astrid performs her duties as the leader of the Dark Brotherhood. And nothing like that really shows her incompetence more than her recruitment of the Dragonborn. Whenever she recruits the Dragonborn, she has three individual people in front of the Dragonborn saying one of these three people has committed a crime, kill whoever you want. The issue, however, is regardless of who you pick, or if you pick Astrid for that matter, she leads to the destruction of the Dark Brotherhood and the murder of all of her friends and allies. And it's not that good. In one hand, you have the potential to actually kill Astrid and just go to Commander Morrow over in Dragonbridge, say that you killed Astrid. He'll give you an information packet that tells you where the Dark Brotherhood sanctuary is. You go in there, you kill everybody. That's the end of that story, and he gives you 3,000 gold pieces for your trouble. Not really a good reward in hindsight, but, sucks to suck. On the other hand, Astrid will gloriously bring you into the Dark Brotherhood with open arms if you decide to kill at least one of those individuals, or maybe even all three if you're feeling a little spicy. And for some reason, throughout this entire time, as she is taking over as the actual commander or at least the leader of the Dark Brotherhood, for some reason she is not following the five tenets, which are supposed to be like the five core rules of the Dark Brotherhood in general. For some reason she's not following any of those. She's just taking over as an authoritarian leader, and it's basically her way or the highway, and the five tenets basically do not apply in the situation, which is very shady. Either way, she brings you in with open arms. She tells you who to kill, when to kill them, and all the rumors that come in between. And then, as soon as she finds out that you yourself, the Dragonborn, are actually the listener after you spy on Cicero and you accidentally find yourself in the coffin of a dead woman, she completely freaks out and doesn't understand what's going on, what's happening, and doesn't really know what to do. She finds herself in a position where her position of power is now jeopardized because you, the Dragonborn, are now the glorious listener of Sithis and of the Night Mother. And she is not very happy about it whatsoever, and she feels very, very threatened. She manages to convince you to go throughout all these missions, and you get this opportunity to assassinate the Emperor of Cyrodiil and assassinate the Emperor of the Imperial Legion. And throughout the entire time, she's going around and making all these backroom deals with Penetius Acalatus and, of course, Commander Morrow, who obviously betrays her and orders an attack on the actual Falkreath Sanctuary, which results in the death of not only her, but many individuals inside of the actual sanctuary, with the exception of two individual people, plus Cicero if you decide to keep him around. Either way, the entirety of the sanctuary is destroyed. There's only three people left, plus you, and their entire situation at hand is going downhill very fast. She is dying. She performs the Black Sacrament on herself. She orders you to kill the Emperor of Cyrodiil, which you do, and then you take over as the listener, the leader of the Dark Brotherhood, and you manage to find yourself in a position of power that once belonged to Astrid, and it goes good for that reason. But either way, she still gets the entirety of the Brotherhood sanctuary destroyed. All of her friends are dead. Her husband is dead. Only two people or three people are left in the Dark Brotherhood, and everything is going downhill very, very fast. The only thing that you could even consider to be good out of this entire situation is that you get to relocate from Falkreath to Dawnstar, and that you get to openly assassinate the Emperor of Cyrodiil, which is a pretty good thing. After you assassinate the Emperor of Cyrodiil, you obviously get the 20,000 gold, but most of that's going to be spent on fixing up the Dawnstar Sanctuary because it's basically a giant pile of rubble. So, yeah, fantastic. So basically, to wrap this up all in a nice little bow, she actively mistrusts the Dragonborn. She doesn't respect the five tenets. She actively goes out of her way to make herself an authoritarian ruler. She actively goes out of her way to mistrust you. As soon as you become the listener, she starts making backroom deals to have the Oculatus and to have Commander Morrow assassinate you. And at the end of the day, it was her unwillingness to trust the Dragonborn, and it was her obsession with power that caused nearly everybody in the entirety of the Sanctuary to get murdered, including her husband, with the exception of Nazir, that kid who is a vampire, and Cicero, assuming if you let him live. So yeah, Astrid is a untrustworthy authoritarian leader who actively does not want to trust the listener because she wants to keep her own power, and because of that, everyone dies. The end. Thank you for watching.